Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fanfiction it inspires. I'm Kasey.
I'm Sandra, and we're joined today by a prolific creator and cheerleader in the supernatural fandom. Known as Masoena on Tumblr and AO3, Mas posted a supernatural fic way back in 2018, but it wasn't until 2023 that it appears the writing bug truly bit. Since then, Mas has taken the moose by the antlers, participating in bangs as both writer and artist, and even wearing the additional hat of challenge mod. Mas is a multishipper through and through, including RPF. She's firmly grounded in reality, but lets her imagination run wild. We're looking forward to a chat about writing those pesky Winchester brothers and the joy of J2. So thanks for joining us, and welcome to the podcast, Mas.
Welcome!
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, though, we got to mention something really important, which is, as of our 3 time zones, it is the 19th of July, which means we're recording this on Jared's birthday. So he's never going to listen to this, hopefully. But happy birthday, Jared. Body feel looks really good on you. Fucking everything looks good on and off you. Sandra, cut that out. But happy birthday, Jared.
Don't you dare cut that out, because it's absolutely true. Definitely happy birthday. Amazing human being that Jared Padalecki is, for sure.
We love you so much, Jared. Happy birthday.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, people are posting. This is an important day. We need to note this, even though this isn't going to actually come out on his birthday, but still,
true.
We're actually recording on Jared's birthday. So yes, happy birthday, Jared Padalecki. I tried not to put it totally out there in the intro, but we'll get to the question, the very important question that Kasey has at some point. But Mas, you've been a part of our Discord server for a while now, and I know we've kind of we get the chance to chat and all these things in there. So it was nice to get to have you on because you're doing so many things. Recently, I've noticed and this is just me on the outside of this Venn diagram part of it, but I know that you're really heavily involved in a lot of different challenges and aspects of it. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
What we want to do is bring it all the way back and ask, when exactly did you get into supernatural?
I live where they filmed the show, or where they filmed the show.
Okay.
And
screaming
so, but honestly, I was completely ignorant to the fact that they were filming there, along with the gazillion other shows and TV movies.
Yeah.
And it was essentially, I'd watched Supernatural when it was on TV, when it came on, I would watch it. And I have these memories of my second apartment in Canada, actually, and seeing the opening credits of Supernatural. Mm-hmm. And I'd watch it once in a while, but it never pulled me in. I was just, these guys are kind of hot. I'll watch it if it's on, kind of thing. It was as superficial as that, I'll be honest.
Right.
I mean, they are. It's a fact. So, and then it was when I was coming home from work one day. I was waiting for my bus in a suburb of Vancouver, and I looked across the street, and there was literally Sam and Dean Winchester hanging out the 3rd-story window, as in Jensen and Jared acting and working on the show. And it was such a wild situation, because I'm like, what is happening? How is this reality?
God.
So yes, that was way back in, and that's one of the things I looked up before this interview, so I could actually be coherent about it. So that was for that scene where Cass and an angel fought in the apartment and then jumped out the window onto Solar Sam's charger. So that's
season
episode,
6, right?
Season 6, yeah.
In season 6.
Yeah, episode 3 of season 6.
Third man?
Yeah. That's the one, yes.
I can be an adult about this. Give me a minute.
That's crazy. That's so awesome.
Yeah, and it's not because of what the show is, because it's set outside and in various parks and forests, as you know, and public spaces like police offices, libraries and whatnot. You would see them around town without even trying sometimes, and you would recognize locations as you drive through the suburbs of Vancouver.
Okay.
Because there's so much of it, for one thing, but still, it was just so what? And there's a few pictures of that episode shoot going on. There's one where Jensen stands on the sidewalk, having his makeup touched up.
Aww.
I saw that. Because I walked over, and then I met a couple of other fans. And so that is officially where I would say I got into the fandom, because that's the first time I connected with other fans of Supernatural, and then actually started watching the show proper.
Because I know you said like you'd watch when like because they're hot or whatever. But so like,
Yes.
was it this energy that just like kind of like did it just like zap you almost like you got like you were like a prophet all of a sudden, like you just got like lightning shot into you, like whoa, this is a thing now. Like what was it about that? What was it about that moment? Was it the energy of seeing it? Was it the fans? Like what could you say? Kind of just like whoa, like because you said you've seen like a lot of stuff like this happen. So what was it that kind of like just made it like wow?
I don't know. I'm not much for watching week by week shows.
Mhm.
I prefer watching multiple episodes at a time. So
Right.
maybe, and at that point you were able to do it because we're obviously on season 6 already.
Yeah.
And I think that probably had a lot to do with it, that I was able to just watch a
Right.
bunch
Right.
and then catch up
Mhm.
and then keep watching.
Uh-huh.
And I've always enjoyed the synopsis, the story of it, of these two brothers going across the country hunting
Mhm.
things. But yeah, I can't pinpoint what it was, but I did start watching after that. And it did help that there was 2 other women there, fans, and
Right.
and we're like, so we kind of walked around the set, and I got up the courage to ask, hey, do you think they'd come out and meet us? And they just laughed at me. They're like, no, they're long gone. Sorry.
Aw.
But then we walked up the block, and Baby was sitting at the corner.
Oh.
And because they had used her earlier just to do a drive up to the building, but she
Right.
wasn't in the shot when Cass did the fighting thing.
Yeah.
It was just the charger, and so that
Mhm.
was my first picture with a supernatural character, was Baby at the
Oh,
corner there. And
that's so great.
yeah, so yeah, and I
Aw.
just kind of started watching, and I wasn't engaging with the fandom as such back then. It was purely
Right.
me just then watching the show
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
for
that's
quite a
so
few years.
great. That is an awesome story. That is an awesome story of how you got into supernatural. Because I could just
Yeah,
imagine just like the energy and like what? Wait, like ooh, this is like
this is real. This is in
yeah,
front of me.
yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
great. Oh my gosh, what other shows like had you? Like, could you have ever pinpointed another show that you'd seen, or just like there's always like cameras somewhere, somebody's doing something in Vancouver? Because I mean, I know it's like a mecca in terms of where like almost every show I remember from like the 80s or 90s, like Vancouver, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, they call it Hollywood North. That's the nickname
Mhm.
it has. And I think the only other show that I could have recognized if I saw it would be Smallville, because I love Smallville.
Okay.
Not because of Jensen.
Uh-huh.
I'm grateful that he was in it. He
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
amazing in it. But
Yeah.
I like Tom Welling.
Mhm.
And
Oh, okay.
but I never saw them film, nor did I go look for them or anything, because
Right.
until that moment it was never really a fact to me that there's so much stuff being filmed here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's but then once you realize it, you can't
You cannot see it,
at
right?
every
Yeah.
corner when you see it,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been really obvious, like the camera crews and stuff. Is it pretty like low key?
the thing is, it's, as much as there is a lot of it, it's not always right at a juncture point or where you go by, and it all depends on, because my commute was out to the airport at that point in my career, so there wasn't a lot along that route that would be suitable for a lot of filming.
Mm.
But if you work
Oh.
downtown, for example, downtown Vancouver, there's so many different massive roads that look like New York or the stadium and things like that, where
Mhm.
you'd see a lot more of it. So
Oh,
Ah.
that's so great.
yeah.
That is a great story. Great story.
Yeah, I told you, Sandra. I did tell you.
You did.
I was like, no, we got to talk about this.
No,
Matt's
no,
the best.
I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, I love that too, because you like hearing everybody's journey is so different. And then to see like, I mean, this was kind of like a smacking like, boom, like, here you go. Like, you thought you liked the show, just wait. Now here's what you got. So that's great. Kasey, I'm going to let you dive in and take over the next little bit. Your question.
Oh, my question. Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult one. This one, guys. So, I mean, like, if you can't pick Mass, it's totally fine. Like, I'll try and be inclusive. I've stopped asking people to pick on gunpoint now, but like, do you feel like maybe? Well, I used to ask people. I was like, gun to your
Yeah,
head.
gun to the head. I remember.
Do you feel like maybe though, like you identify with one of the brothers more? Do you feel like one is maybe a blobbo more than the other? Do you consider yourself a bi bro? Like, do you have a favorite Winchester brother? And it's totally okay if you don't.
I don't know. I'll really have to think about this one. I mean,
That's
there's
okay.
Castiel too, I mean,
See, I'm not sure. I've got to say, like, maybe this is activist, but I don't track Castiel. I can leave a note if you want. If you could pick me like one brother, and I'll leave a note that says you actually prefer Castiel, that's fine. I can do that.
no, I think I'm good. So yeah, no, obviously it has always been Sam, and just like why I watched the show, they're so freaking hot. It was for that reason until you actually get into it and watch the show and see the story. And it wasn't until I got really into fan fiction and interacting with other authors and artists where somebody tossed the sentence of, "Oh, I'm blah blah coded." And I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Oh,
And I'd never heard the term before, to be coded by
We
to someone or a
just
character.
recorded a discussion
that was the last
about that.
episode
Yeah.
we recorded. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
so as I do when I don't know something, I just ask, like, what does that mean?
Mhm.
And so somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody quite nicely explained it to me, and then I thought about it, like, yeah, I'm definitely Sam coded, because there's certain character traits to him, like the whole get up early in the morning, go for exercise. That's me. Watching your diet.
Oh, ew. No.
Being fairly brainy and analytical about things and thinking about things and
Yep.
picking things apart, wanting to do something that nobody in your family has done before.
Mm.
All
Yep.
things I relate to on many levels. There's sides to him that I don't relate to. I'm definitely not a badass in hand-to-hand combat or anything, but or weapons handling. But, you know.
Not everybody can be. You don't necessarily have a lot of opportunities to
true.
practice that.
Yeah. So, but so it's definitely always been Sam and Jared by extension, for me.
Love it.
That's not to say that I don't like Jensen or Dean, because I think they go together. I wouldn't consider myself a biver because I am biased towards Sam Jared, but there wouldn't be a Sam without a Dean, in my opinion. It's they come together, obviously. So and that was a terrible sentence. Given what this podcast is, so terribly okay.
Terribly appropriate for
Yes.
this podcast.
Yeah.
Totally appropriate.
No, just before I get on to what I was going to say, I'm thinking we had Sal on a little while ago.
Yeah.
I don't think her episode has come out yet. It might
No,
have
not
come.
yet.
I don't
No,
know.
it has not.
But she's a Sam girl as well, and she's like, you can't be a Sam girl without being a Dean girl as well.
Yes.
And I totally vibe with that, and I think that's right.
100%. Yeah. And vice versa. I think they're each other's true north. And it does not even in the Wincesty sexual way, but in a romantic way, whatever you call it. But just in a they are each other's back. Like they have each other's back more so than anybody else in their entire lives. So yeah, fully agree.
Absolutely. But now, like, Sandra, you got to find some Dean people. It's 20 to 23. And if it tips over, I'm going to be so mad because I'm going to have nothing to win.
I don't know what to tell you. I was told for a while I needed to get more Sam people on. I'm just doing my job. And now that we're getting to that point, now all of a sudden it's like I need to change it now. But
I've changed my mind.
I can't say that I think we might have some more Sam people coming on at some point in the future. So I think you're just going to...
My persecution complex.
We're going to have a roll of the dice thing. There are some people coming on that I have no clue about. So these they will be like a fun reveal when we get into it. Yeah. So we'll see. I was saying to Kasey before you came on, I said, sometimes we just know, we just know because we have a lot of interactions with the people that are coming on beforehand. But other times it's like, I have no freaking clue. Kasey's like, I don't know either. I'm like, okay, we'll just see. Because, you can't always tell from the writing. That's the thing too. Like, unless somebody actually states it, depending on what you read or you write, unless it's like everybody writes all Dean or everybody writes all Sam, you don't get a good, sense of who might be their their
I deliberately
in this situation.
I deliberately write Dean to throw people off.
No, but the thing is, if you're a Sam girl and you write from Dean's POV all the time, it's because you can then describe Sam all the time, which is enjoyable, right? It's but that's one way of thinking, and other people just go, I'm gonna write from Sam's POV all that because he's my favorite blurbo. So it's both valid.
It's all totally valid. I mean, I've got to say, like, being in a bang that Mass has run, which we'll get into in a minute, called the Sam Win Jarpad Big Bang, which is like the first Sam/Jared bang that's happened for quite a few years now, and then also learning that you were going to be running a Kinktober and signing up for that, and then also like joining you in a collaboration for some art that you drew of Jared.
I know we're going to switch over to more like fandom stuff in a little bit, but I did see something on your profile, AO3 profile, and I thought it was funny because you're like, I don't even remember that, but it was something that you watched up to season 9, but then Netflix streaming brought you back. Do you remember what it was about Was it something in particular about season 9? Because we're just, we have this theory.
Did you get to the end of season 9?
I don't remember, I'll be honest.
It's okay.
I saw this in your notes leading up to the interview, and I'm like, I don't even remember writing this.
That's
or why.
fine. No, that's fine. I was just curious because I was like,
yeah,
because some people have legitimate like thoughts about if they love Sam. I think season 9 is one of the harder, right?
Yeah.
Like season 8, season 9, like maybe the start of season 8, but season 9 in particular, I think is a really hard one for them to kind of get past in terms of like what's happened on the show and stuff like that. Because that was like the whole Gadriel thing and all of that stuff. So didn't know if that was like, were you just like, no, I'm not having this, and then you just came back, but you just don't remember. So it's totally fine if you can't.
I think it was too. Usually, I stop watching something if it gets too convoluted, or I don't know, or to me perceptively annoying or weird, or something I don't like the direction of. That's probably what it was, but I couldn't tell you because I appreciate all seasons of Supernatural for different reasons. Not every single episode. There's good ones and bad ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I've just finished a couple of fics actually centered around season 8 and 9.
Okay.
And a bunch of a rewrite to some degree as well, like what would happen if he finished the trials and survived. So that's one of my stories that is in progress at the moment. So I've definitely come to appreciate it for the lore and the material it gives us. But at the time, I don't know if it just... Because it's definitely a huge change from originally what Supernatural was, like season 1 through 5.
I know you're a multi-shipper and you don't like, you appreciate all of the ships, but we have found talking to people, especially people who are more like Winchester sort of focused, that seasons 8 and 9 and 10 do tend to be the places when they dip out and they're like, do you know what? This is strayed too far from what it was in the beginning, and I can't like keep watching this. So saying that it was like 8 and 9 and fucking nobody talk to me about season 8. Fucking hell.
It's just like, radars just go up too. Cause like I said, it's just, we're like, we've got, our theories over like, now that we've gotten to talk to so many different people in the fandom, that are Sam lovers or Dean lovers. And like, really like just kind of like picking apart, like some people feel very, hurt.
It's me.
People get very hurt by the like characterizations or like arcs and like different things that are happening in different seasons. So I was just curious, but it's totally understand that, it definitely can be convoluted. Supernatural. What? No, that never happens at all.
No, it's totally straightforward.
I can follow it.
Yeah, but I think it's something that happens to every show that goes past season 9 or 10 in general. They have to go. And Supernatural did the exact. If I compare Smallville and Supernatural, Smallville went, I think, 10 or 11 seasons, and they went into like, just like SPN, alternate universes, because they ran out of stuff to do. If that's my opinion. I don't know if that's actually the case, but and with Supernatural, with implementing angels as early as season 4, they implemented an OP character that they had to summon a nuke power-wise to make work, to make it make sense. And it still didn't fully make sense. You had to really kind of let some things go to make it still.
Cass isn't around this
watchable.
episode.
Cass has put his angel phone on Do Not Disturb, so you guys are going to have to sort this out yourselves. He's got to have a meeting.
It's that disbelief, right? You have to suspend a lot if you really want to keep going with a show. It was like in the beginning, I think, but like everything else, like after a while, it's like, well, what are we going to come up with? What can we do? And so I get it.
That is the thing with the, like you say, shows that go on for a long period of time. Every big bad has got to be bigger and badder than the last big bad, and then you're like, shit, we've run out of big bads, guys.
We've brought in the universe's powers. What do we do next?
So like there's a masochistic part of me that you finished the show though, you made it to the end.
Absolutely.
There is a masochistic part of me that wants to know what the next big bad would have been if they hadn't ended it at 16. I'm like, oh, you defeated literal god, and you made a new god. What now, lads?
Well, I hate to say it, but I hate to say it, but I think it would have been Jack, right? Like I think it would have been Jack.
I thought you were going to say the Winchesters. And I was going to be like, oh no.
No, I'm thinking it would have been. I'm thinking maybe it would have been Jack at some point,
Jack was a good boy.
No, I know, but I'm just saying like how they would probably twist things. I mean, Chuck. Okay, we're not going to get into the show because we'll be here another half hour. Because
we could easily talk.
I told myself I would not do this because I know we could. So, but anyway, I did want to kind of switch over into the fandom part of Supernatural? Because you said like when you'd seen them on the street and doing the shooting and stuff like that, at that
Still
point it
just
wasn't
fucking
fandom
surreal
stuff. But when did you discover then this other aspect of Supernatural in terms of the fandom?
I just watched quietly, in quotation marks, just watched the show basically for, I would say, a few years. And then I started reading fan fiction probably around 2014, 2015, around there. And that's also when I started making a concerted effort to try and see them film when they're in a public space, like if they're in a city park or in a like, as long as it's public space and accessible and you're not walking onto a private property like a crazy stalker. It's because I love that aspect of seeing something in its raw form, of what it looked like when they were in front of the camera, and how that then is turned into the final product that we see on TV.
Right.
And I love that about any show. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Supernatural, even something I regularly watch. And so I made friends through that. So set hunting friends, we call each other. And we're still friends.
I love that.
Two of them were friends. I'm friends with to this day.
Is there like a like you don't have to out this, you don't have to like reveal your secret agent methods, but is it like a fucking website where you could go and find out like
like places where like they filmed?
Yeah, like obviously the production knows where they're going to film, but is there somewhere you can go and be like, oh, Supernatural are going to be filming in this, Smallville's filming here, and this show's filming here, and Jensen's little black book of buddies are all going to be over there. Like, or do you just literally have to go around Vancouver and be like, I saw cameras, everyone come here?
No, it's more. So there is a thing called this. I think it's the Screen Actors Guild Association of BC, that tells you what productions are currently active, but it won't give you more than who's the production company, who's the director, what's the name of the show.
Okay.
And so from that, you know what's in town right now filming, and then you have to do your own research to find out who's in those shows.
Because they need to get permits and stuff, right? Like I would assume that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
we are not encouraging anybody to abuse.
We are not the first ones.
Civil servant positions. Do not do that. We will not be sued on this matter. We are not encouraging that.
No, yeah, but you make a very good point about the permits, because if they film in a public park,
it's research,
they have to reserve the area from the city that runs that park or owns that park, right? Or and so you will actually see signs everywhere saying XYZ show is filming here. And what happened back then, and it's still the case to a degree, is that people would post the filming. Each production has a filming code when they're in town. That there are these white plastic arrows that show a code, and through Twitter and other people reporting it and making lists of it, there's a couple of Twitter accounts that do just that, like list filming codes and what production are they. And so when you see those arrows around town, that's how you know what is the show that's filming here, and people would share it on Twitter. That's how you find out. As far as knowing who's there filming, you have to spend the time and go and see. That's definitely not anywhere, unless you happen to know someone on the crew, which I definitely do not. We had some of my friends have some friends on other productions, but that doesn't really help because it's all its own thing. But it's spending the time doing it and then just following it. If there is someone who say, hey, Supernatural is here, you just go check it out and hope you see something being filmed. And it's not even about meeting the actors, it's just about seeing it. The show being made that you love so much, right?
No, that sounds great. I think I would love living in Vancouver. I
would not get shit done.
No,
I would not get nothing done.
This is so fascinating because I love the behind the scenes aspects of it. Like my husband's really doesn't put the two things together. Like if I said Jensen directed this episode, he's like, well, does that mean he wrote it? I'm like, no, it's two totally different things. I'm like, and I'm like, but like explaining to him like all the different components and parts of it. And like, I always loved that, like finding out like the behind the scenes or seeing how people shot scenes or like the special effects. Like those were always things I found fascinating growing up. So then to have a place where that happens pretty much like all the time, like all the different areas, like I'm assuming they have, like, if they don't, somebody should jump on this, like have an SPN tour, like these are the places where this was filmed or this was filmed or like this was filmed, like these are like, this is like iconic stuff for like
business idea.
No, well, I'm not there, but like it would be great, to do that. I'm not saying that you should leave the United States for Canada. I'm not saying that would be why would I even consider that right now? That would be
I'm just saying that if you found yourself in Canada
I would definitely,
like-
Vancouver would be, or Toronto. I've heard Toronto is like a good spot for like filming stuff too.
Yes, it is.
So there's always
The Boys is filming over there, right?
The Boys is
So,
filming
yeah.
in,
And the both exist actually. For the Supernatural location tour, they do one as part of VanCon, usually, which is just a once a year type of thing. Yeah. So it's run through Creation, and it's incredibly overpriced, I gotta say, because Creation is expensive. But it's nice because you get to go with one of the guys from the crew, which I think adds a special vibe.
Oh yeah,
no,
that
he can
would
give you background info, right? So but knowing where they filmed and living here and how easy it is to find multiple locations, even within the downtown core, I find it a bit of a ripoff, but you do get that extra of a crew member, right?
I guess I'd have to rationalize that by paying no. I'm paying for the expertise of the man that did this, or the lady, whoever the person who was on the.
Yeah, and it's the guy's, I'm trying to remember his name. It's the guy who used to do all the in the back. Was it Steve Wannock or something?
Oh, Jerry Wannock.
Jerry Wannock. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was him a couple of times. I don't know if it is this year. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
But if it's him, he would have so much knowledge to share and information. So I think it would be a fantastic experience, especially when you're coming from anywhere but Vancouver. It's completely new to you, all of it, right?
Oh,
I think it would be fantastic.
That would be one of the places I think if I ever, if I could do a Supernatural convention outside, like I'd want to go to the Vancouver one because I think that would just be great. I could imagine my husband saying, okay, find addresses and then we'll just go ourselves. And I'll be like, we're going to get so lost, but it'll be fine.
If you're truly considering it, please tell me and I will gladly be your tour guide.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
So I'm planning. See, the problem that we've got here is ImpalaCon is going to be in a Nordic country somewhere. So I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know how we're going to make that work in Vancouver, but in my head, I've got this really great image of like little tours in a 67 Impala, which are like fucking gold dust to get hold of now. And like obviously we're going to hire you to be the tour guide. I don't know how we're going to get, because ImpalaCon's going to be in like Norway or something. I've decided that's where I want to live.
Okay.
All right.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll leave the Vancouver one. We'll leave the Vancouver stuff there. I don't know.
You'll start with one in Norway and then do more.
Yeah, that's it. That's what'll happen.
See, that's much more reasonable, because I was thinking of calling Jared and being like, bro, I know you have a plane and I don't know how many people you can fit on that plane, but could you give me like a price or some shit? And like, we'll ship it for gas money, dude. I'll buy you a pizza and some beer. We'll ship it for gas money. It'll be fucking sweet. And then we can fly people from ImpalaCon in Norway who want to do the tour in Vancouver and then fly them back.
Okay, well, all of that is...
This is all logical and works out perfectly, doesn't it? Nobody poke holes in my shit. This is perfect.
I love the creativity. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's how it's going to work out. And just like, I'm not saying Sandra is going to leave the US. I'm genuinely not. But certain things are happening in that part of the world that might necessitate an exit. And if you were already in Vancouver...
And we're all passported out here in this family, so now we're all set. We're all set now. So there's always a possibility. Good. Always a possibility.
And the weather's more normal, I think. I don't think it snows that bad in Vancouver.
Vancouver's pretty mild that way, yes. Yeah, if we usually have about a week's worth of snow days spread across the winter. It's mostly rain in winter, not snow. So
because you're part of that, like on that western sort of coast with like Oregon and Seattle. And
Pacific Northwest vibes. Yeah, absolutely.
Soggy. But also, orcas.
Yes.
We are not going into whale territory for too long.
Not going into whale territory. They have resident, fuck you, man. They have resident pods in that part of the world. That are there all the time.
I get it.
Moving on, because I will derail us the fuck over orcas. Moving on.
I know. So
have you seen any though, Mouse?
Okay. Yes. Have you?
I have. Yeah. We've gone on there's a tour you can take from Steveston, which is it's just south of Vancouver, where once upon a time used to film there all the time. But beside note, you can take a boat straight from there, and we've seen it. I remember there was this little British girl on the boat with us tourists with her parents, and she's like, I want to see him jump. And then the one whale actually jumped out of it, literally seconds after she said it. I remember it vividly. And we were just like, I had goosebumps. So it's just like, this is insane. So I get the fascination with orcas. It's insane to see them for real. It's something else for sure. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Casey,
gonna put,
I know.
We're gonna put a pin in that because
I
I would keep us for the next 3 hours about that. Pin in that. See me in your DMs later, Mas. Tell me about
Sounds
the awkward
good.
fuck.
Anytime.
The fanfic part, you said you had started finding supernatural fanfic around I think it was 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Had you read fanfic for any other fandom before?
I have not. I had no idea it was even a thing until Supernatural. It makes total sense that it would be a thing, but no, I'd never been exposed to it before.
Was there a certain moment that you're like, I wonder what switch got flipped there? They're like, I want to search this stuff out. Did you happen upon it sort of accidentally, or was it like a search for fan fiction?
It was an accidental exposure.
Okay.
It must have come up either on Facebook or on Instagram or somewhere, or somebody might have mentioned it to me, even another friend. I honestly don't remember how I found fan fiction, but I know I started reading it, and I was very much I'm ashamed of what I'm reading, so I will not comment, or bookmark anything with proper comments. That has changed a lot since, but yeah. So, and I just started reading it, and I kind of hedged with my real life supernatural friends. I was like, hey, do you read fan fiction? What do you think? What's your favorite ship? Kind of thing. And just kind of hedged the question. And some did actually. And funny enough, most of my real life fan friends are all Dean girls. Every single one of them. And one is a cast fan. So to then be exposed to so many Sand people was fantastic once I've joined the online community of things. So So I mean, were you kind of like a fish out of water too then with what do these terms mean? Were you kind of so did you even understand what slash was, or did you have to figure that stuff out too? Or did you, again, was it a stumbling and finding something and going, oh, people write this, people like this? Do I like this? What Yes. I mean, I didn't even know what slash and plus meant in terms of pairings until after I started posting fan fiction. I'm convinced I still have stories on my AO3 account that are incorrectly tagged plus instead of slash. So yes, it was definitely a discovery. And I remember getting into Omegaverse fairly early on, and I'm like, what is this? What is this self-slicking stuff and all that? And I'm like, okay. But I got into it. I really enjoyed the trope. But it can be done in so many different ways. So that's one awesome aspect of it. It's just a sandbox. But yeah, it was definitely I have no idea what all these terms, and when it was tagged for a bang, I was like, what is a bang? What does that even mean? Because bang out of context, you're like, bang, what, gunshot bang? Bang as in
bang, you're banging?
The other thing?
Yes, that's what
exactly.
I thought. I was like, wait.
So I was like, what? So it was definitely a complete ignorant person diving into it head first and enjoying it.
I look back at even just Casey and I on the podcast and having people on to explain stuff to us. And I was like, if I could just go back to my past self, I mean, you are going to know so many more things that you never even thought were possible, kind of a situation in just a short amount of time, that the knowledge is just very, very impressive. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I remember going onto Tumblr and being like, what are they talking about? What's Destiel? What are all these different things? I'm like, Wincest? Yes. I mean, I remember having to explain that to my husband when I finally understood what it was. He's like, what? I know.
Did he do the Dean? Did you have to be like, slash, as in Sam slash Dean?
It was very interesting. Ew! But it's funny because now talking about it, he's like, yeah, okay. It's more information, as you I think when you're informed and then you take that knowledge and you go back and look, you can see where these ideas flourish, right? How they come about. It's not it isn't just fashioned out of thin air, when you ship and all these different things. I find it all very interesting over time with the knowledge you consume and then how it.
True.
I also would like to I've said this to Casey, it would be nice to just wipe for a while and just go back and experience it all again.
Watch it again.
For the first time and see if and then be able to compare, almost be able to go back and say, this is how you saw it this time. This is how you saw it this time. Did you have any different
unbiased
reactions?
Yeah.
It'd be so interesting. I know we can't, but it's always a thought in my mind. But for you, the writing, did you write original stuff first, or was it all fanfic?
I used to write a lot, and I used to really enjoy it when I was a teenager, and then I kind of stopped. And I've always written diaries, not so much fiction of any kind. So I like the act of writing. I always have. But I think fan fiction is an easy way to enter into writing. And I think that's how and it was very much and I'm sure you've heard this from other people, the whole, I want to read what isn't there or how I would write this. And then you just do it and you go and write that. That's kind of what started my very first fic, which is not my first fic on my profile anymore because I took it down, revamped it into an SPN fic from RPF, and then finished it up in 2023.
So when you start, like, when did you actually put pen to paper or got on your keyboard and actually wrote your first one? Like, when did that happen?
That was in 2017. I put up I think it was 3 or 4 chapters of back then it was a J2 RPF story or fic. And it was Omegaverse, full animal transformation of Omegaverse, werewolves, Mpreg, the whole 9.
Gotcha.
And I had a moment of, I don't want to put Jensen Ackles through this because I was pretty mean to his character in the story. And so I revamped it into an unrelated Wincest story in the end. With many, many other characters. And I think it's my longest fic to date still that I've ever posted.
Cool.
But yeah, it would have been my first one, but I took it down because I wanted to, I didn't have a beta. I didn't know how to proofread properly. So I took it down, wrote it, and then finished it up. 6 years later, essentially in 2023.
That's so cool, though.
Salad actually made this point when we had her on about how having not written for a while and then coming back and then having this blueprint of, well, here's this character and you can just do whatever you want. So it's almost like it's a easier, I guess, like maybe like on ramp you back into writing. Did you kind of find that too, or did you say because it was so different and you did more diaries, was it a completely different writing experience for you, or did it just kind of make sense and flow when you finally did just start writing?
I think it's easier to start with fan fiction than original fiction when you start writing.
Yes,
whether you've done it before or not, because you have the luxury of pre-made, pre-developed characters that somebody else already wrote multiple years of story for. So you don't have to spend your time creating just the person that you're writing about. And if you write canon compliant, you already have the world too. So I think it's almost like an introduction way of writing, if you will.
Yeah.
But if you take it into an AU, then of course it's not exactly like original fiction, but it's close to the amount of effort to make that work and to make it read in a way that pulls the reader in. So, and that's to me one of the enjoyments of both Wincest and J2 RPF is I see them as characters that have certain character traits, and I love plucking them up and putting them into worlds that I create. That's the enjoyment for me in fan fiction. I'm not too. I do write both canon compliant and canon divergent and completely made up stuff that has nothing to do with the canon verse. But that's just spreading my wings creatively because I want to write whatever my muse wants me to write. So if an idea sparks, I just pursue it.
Do you consider Sam to be like your main muse, or is it Jared, or does it just depend because you are a you are a multi-shipper? Like, do you tend to sort of maybe start with Sam or Jared, or is it more the story idea?
It's not usually the character that drives it. It's usually I have a whole document that I call it aspirations, basically ideas for future things, both art and fic. And it's usually either a picture or a scene or a prompt from a Discord server somewhere, or just an idea. It often starts with just a moment of some sort, or an object. For example, the other day I was at an ice cream shop and they had these really cool metal butterflies on the wall where the body was a key and the wings were brass stencils.
Oh,
I was like, that'd be
so
such a cool visual to put on like a fairy tale art piece. So that's why. So inspiration comes from everywhere. It's not usually character driven. It's more that there's this idea. How do which pairing would work for this? That's more my process, and I very much gravitate towards J2 RPF or Sam Dean for most things. But I just talked to Sal this week actually about how many pairings we've written. She's got twice as many as I do, but I've written 39 different pairings since I've started writing fanfic.
Wow.
So yeah, it depends, but definitely with heavy emphasis on those two. main ships that I enjoy.
Yeah. So, like, when you call yourself a multishipper, then what does that mean to you?
I think the fundamental essence is multi-shipping, as in like as soon as you ship more than one pairing, you're technically a multi-shipper.
Okay.
So just the word itself. But for me, it's also a matter of being tolerant of things that other people enjoy and support them if it brings them enjoyment. I have very few squicks, but some that really do squick me out. And I'll if somebody tries to brainstorm something like that with me, I'm like, no, sorry, you're gonna get very biased feedback from me. That is not fair to you. Please brainstorm with someone else. In general, I just see it as being tolerant and like the fundamental ship and let ship core value. And supporting, even if it's something that you might not read or might never write, if my friend gets enjoyment out of this, I will promo and reblog the heck out of it because I want their story to succeed. So the whole idea of building each other up rather than tearing down.
I love that.
Which,
I love that. And I will say, as someone who has been on the other end of Mass's like do not wants, it's tiny. Yo, it's tiny. It's the shortest fucking list. It's the short. Like I said, Mass posted some art because I was the collaboration channel in the Samwin Japad Discord. Like your idea?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, which is it's really cool. The server's still really active, even though the actual bang itself is done. But this collaboration channel, and it was just like, hey, kind of like a bang, but not, and like a bang or a reverse bang. And I've written this, and anyone might think art for it, or I've drawn this, and anyone pick for it. And you posted the most beautiful art, so fucking beautiful.
I saw it. It was very, very nice. Very, very nice.
It's the art that Mass made for the Samwin Japad Kinktober. And like you get me to do a lot of fucking things with that art, y'all. And that's what I put when I reblogged it on Tumblr. I was like, you could encourage me to do a lot of fucking things. Joining up with Kinktober is not a thing. But you posted it and you were like, does anyone want to do something with this? And I was like, volunteer as tribute. Maybe. I don't have enough shit going on, so yes. And so we're like going back and forth, and I was like, okay, like what do you want? What do you not want? And I like started like to move that stuff into a document so I could like realistically so I could check off like what kinks I was gonna hit and what I was not. And the fucking do not want it's teeny tiny, it's like 5 things.
It is.
And the kinks I enjoy is like a page long, and I was like, well, I'm spoiled for choice here. Marvelous.
Well, if you look at my profile, it's that. Well, the Manning Park Wolves was technically the first story I ever wrote, then a part 2 for someone else's fic, and then Kinktober. Those are my first 3 things. So I love kink stuff. It's definitely a theme I enjoy. This will
be my first Kinktober because every other year I forget it's Kinktober until people start posting for Kinktober, and I'm like, fuck.
It's good to give advance notice that these things are happening. So you got Casey's attention with that picture. So there you go.
We will provide the picture itself is public, so link in the description.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
no, and I think Kinktober can be daunting because like the full Kinktober is writing 31 stories without for some people without pre-writing anything and just literally writing something every day, which I think is a lot for most people.
Yeah, that's scary. I couldn't write something on the day like that.
Yeah, no. I've done it once, and I will never do it again. But it's amazing when you see the final result. It's a big sense of accomplishment, but it's stressful. It's too much. And also, I don't know if Sal mentioned it, but they came up with this SPN Kinktober prompt list with 4 prompts per day on their writer server. And they added SPN specific kinks to it. So I'm really excited to write to some of those as well. Plus, of course, the 4 prompts per week that we're doing for Stan Winchester Charpat, because it's more, that's to me, and that came very much from JDL 71, my co-mod and fellow mod for SWJP, that we're not going to do a fic a day, but we can do 1 per week. That's realistic and doable. And if somebody wants to write to all of the prompts that we have per week, be our guest. We will promo and reblog as much as we can. So
you get a wealth of riches when that stuff starts to happen.
It's going to be great.
All the Sam Charpat content.
Can't wait for the list to come out so I can be like, yes, and into it.
I think one of my questions I think you answered too in terms of like ships and pairings that lend themselves to different tropes. It sounds like you said you kind of get the idea or the inspiration first, and then just maybe kind of pick and choose. So even with like the alpha omega or darker themes, it really just depends. Like you get the idea first, and then you pick like how you're going to plop a character in or which way it's going to go, kind of a situation.
With Supernatural, I think if you look at the major ships, Winchester, Destiel, I would say are the two biggest ships. I think either of them you could throw into any trope, really, if you're giving them the right world to act in. And with Sam and Dean especially, they are so multifaceted as characters, where they both have vulnerable moments, very strong badass moments. You can write them in both directions, in both ways, of any trope or any power dynamic or character dynamic that you can think of. So I think the possibilities are endless, because Sam and Dean, they hold each other up sometimes. Like sometimes it's one holding the other up, and vice versa, and it changes. So it's like they're not simple characters, so you can really write them into anything, in my opinion. And sometimes making it J2RPF makes more sense, because they are completely different people too. And that's what I enjoy about these 4 characters. I call them characters because, to me, and I know that's J2RPF is not everybody's thing, but to me it's not about writing about Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, the real person. It's about the persona and the vibes they give us on stage with each other, the public stage persona that they put on at the conventions and things like that, and picking that up as a character bundle, if you will. The stoic mock annoyance of Jensen towards Jared for his dad jokes that he secretly loves, and those kind of dynamics. It's picking those things. It's not about talking about Jared, the husband and father of 3 with his beautiful wife and all that. That's none of my business. That's his personal life. That's not what I'd ever write about. But it's about what they give us on stage, which to me, I think, of course, they are in it because they're on stage and it's them. But I think it's still a persona on stage, not
I agree.
them. So
I think that's something we've talked about quite a few times, is like, yes, they come to us a little bit more real on stage at conventions, but it's still an act in a way. And I think much more so with Jensen. I think Jared's probably a little bit more open just because of the nature of who he is. Jensen's a little bit more stoic, but and that, like, I've written 1 RPF, and I had to really internalize that, and I had to be like, to take the characters and really just utterly remove them from context and be like, this is a fictionalized version of Jensen. This has absolutely no bearing. And I had to like remove his wife and his family and everything before I could feel comfortable enough to write what I wanted to write with him. Because I'm like, there's a line to be told there. They are real people. Yep. And absolutely. You've got to be playing with the characters that they give us, not necessarily them.
And I think, I mean, coming from like I think when I hear RPF, like at least when I initially first, like the whole J2 RPF to me meant you were really kind of trying to like real person fiction, but like you're taking them as the actors that they are, right? And like kind of like expanding on that part of it, like almost like it's still like, oh, you know, they're working on Supernatural together and like all that. Like I think I couldn't get past the fact that no, there's also J2 AU, like, you know, like, and I almost feel like there needs to be a distinction, like in a way, like, you know, for that too, because I feel like there are people that do write RPF in a way with the actors, like trying to get into the actors mindset, where I think with J2AU, you know, you really are putting them in all of these different alternative universe things. You know, I mean, I'm so far behind, but like I've just started catching up on all the great stuff that Nixosity's done and like reading their, you know, her AU stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, I had no idea that, you know, that people were doing stuff like this with J2. And so I think that brought in my, again, you know, looking back at like my 3-year ago version of, no, that's not what what you're thinking this is not really what this is, kind of a thing. It almost like it needs an explainer, you know, like here, even though it's got this RPF title, it's not really what you think, you know, like across the board kind of a thing. So
and I think the letter F, fiction, it's not about the real person. Yes, it's based on a real public person.
But my mind doesn't want to comprehend that F part. You put real person in there.
No, I fully get that, and I
Yeah.
think you have to make that choice for yourself. Of, are you
Yeah.
comfortable with this,
Mm-hmm.
and in what way are you? And if
Yeah.
you're not, then that's fine too. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's yeah. And as far as writing them as actors, I've written for my Sam Wynn Charpad story. I did write a story where a future Sam visits Jensen and Jared filming season 1.
Okay.
But to me, the fact that I'm bringing Sam into the real world while they were filming
Makes it
is
fiction.
already an AU in and of itself.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
they're actors on Supernatural, but it's obviously not the real
Yeah.
world because that would never happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and it was fun to delve into how would they, as we know them as public people, because I don't know Jared or Jensen
Mm-hmm.
as people, as friends or anything, never will.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun to
Sad.
explore how they would react to that and how Jared would help this future season 15 Sam who just lost Dean,
Mm-hmm.
and how empathetic would he be with him. And I thought that was a really cool thing to explore. It has nothing to do with their real lives.
Yeah.
It's an AU, right? So levels of I fully get what you're saying if it's an AU, but an AU happens very quickly, or even at least a reality divergent AU, if you will.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, yeah, I think it's just, again, like when you know, everybody processes it differently, figures it out at a different pace. It took me a really
100%.
long time to figure that out, that there's, you know, I credit Kasey for a lot of this too, like the whole J2 part of it, because
I'm a terrible influence.
But I think that's one of the things I've kind of like, you know, again, like the ship and let ship and what people like and stuff. Like I do like the AU aspect of it in certain situations. So I will delve into like certain stories if I'm like, oh, this is a really great idea. And like, how are you going to take these two characters, you know, or how are you going to like either tweak them a little bit or use a characteristic that maybe you assign to them, or personality trait, and like put them into this other world and this other universe and expand on that and come up with this really different character, but that holds some of the things that maybe like, you know, you love and adore maybe about the persona that they show you as themselves. So I do. I think the creativity around that, I think that really does, like the AU parts are just amazing when you really get into it, what people are capable of writing when it comes to that. So for your writing, fanfic tropes that you really like to write, that you've
fanfic
noticed,
tropes that you hate to write as well.
yeah,
also.
like love or hate, like that you like, no, I tried this, I don't like it, or my God, I can't get enough of writing this like trope.
Yeah, my most used tags are casefic and hurt and comfort. I love and I love put and protective characters, or where one is in peril and the other saves them or her, for that matter. So that's probably my favorite kind of thing to write. And smut, I don't usually write smut just by itself or PWP. I read it sometimes, and I of course Kinktober. There's a lot of that, but it's not. I enjoy it sometimes, but it's not. I'm more of a plot writer than a smut, just smut writer.
Yeah.
I often find myself, I need to give this context. How did they get here to trying this kink?
Oh,
That
you and
doesn't just
Sandra are
happen.
besties. You're besties.
Well,
you
no,
need
you
some
gotta-
background, right? Like in your brain, you need
Exactly.
No, the porn could just be porn, guys. It's fine.
Yeah. No, and so my solution for that this year in Kinktober, whatever kinks I end up writing for, is that I'm gonna make it an established pairing that continuously tries out these different things, so that it's not a constant setup of why are they doing this. It's just I can just focus on the actual.
That's a good idea.
That's a good way to go. That's a good way to go with it.
Yeah. And so as far as tropes, I don't enjoy. I'm not huge on hurt, no comfort, and I don't like rape, like actual non-con, full on stuff. I consensual non-consent, love it. I've said so to Kasey, but it has to be safe and consensual and you know, pre-discussed and everything. And what else don't I enjoy? I don't read parencest. I have read a couple because I have friends who write it and they really wanted me to read it and see what I thought. It's not something that I will, don't talk to me about it. It's not like that. But and I don't generally read or write underage, as in like underage sexual content, as per the AO3 definition.
Yeah.
Again, I have no problem with people who do it, but that's not something you want to brainstorm with me. And but that's probably about it.
Was there ever a pair? Like, were you ever surprised you started writing like a certain like rare pair or something? Or like, oh, like, did you ever like, I didn't I didn't know I'd want to do this. Like, were you like anything? Because I know you multi-ship. So was there any like rare pair that you were like surprised that you really ended up liking writing?
I quite enjoyed Gadriel Sam. I wrote that for the Rare Ship Bang Like Steer. And as separate characters, not in a SPN verse. It was a complete AU situation where they were both lawyers and working a class action lawsuit against the company. And so I really enjoyed that pairing because I like them together physically because they're almost the same height as well. So it was a really cool, from an aesthetics point of view, it's a really cool pair to write. And I love men in suits. So I just kind of dug into that suit kink heavy. But it was a me cute office romancy type of thing that kind of dug deeper later on. And I had Dean with Lisa in that story where Ben was theirs, and they had another child together. So I kind of just, and I had Donna and Kim, not Kim, Donna and Jody, be kind of a lesbian power couple. One was the HR director, and the other was the police chief in the city the story was set in. And it was I enjoyed that so much because I don't know these side pairings when I start writing. It's just kind of as you're building the story, it just all comes together. I really enjoyed that story. It has terrible engagement, but I loved writing it, and I'm really proud of it.
That's good.
And some rare pairs are just hilarious and cracky too, which is fun to do.
Yeah. I see. We're totally different people. You like no. I made them separate. I would have put them together. I would have had them in the same body. I would have had Sam be aware of Gadriel in his head. Genuinely one of the best Winchester stories I've read in a long time, and I would have to go and look it up. Is in order to save Dean from the mark of Cain, Sam has to let him possess him. So it's Sam and Dean in Sam's body, and they they fight over like control of Sam's body, and it does get sexual, but it's so good, and it feeds into like the sort of it's very common in fanfic, more so on Dean's side, that you'll read about Dean like wanting to crawl inside Sam or put Sam inside him to keep him safe, and it plays into all that, and it's all kinds of weird and fucked up, and I loved it.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds. And
I would totally, I would do that with Sam and Gadriel. I really would. But also, meet cute lawyer, fucking love that.
Yeah, and I've written a Kinktoberfil where Gadriel was in Sam's head, and it got kinky that way. I honestly don't remember the details of it, but I made it work somehow. And
it's in someone's head.
Fun.
You can do what you want with it.
Exactly. It's fun to explore how that would work and how it would be if they were inside the mind and like influencing each other. Yes, I'm going to say it. And crack is just it's like that's a special love of mine. And there were some really fun prompts in Winter Natural 2023, which was the first event I ever did. And I actually wrote Sam/Grinch. And I have one where, and Sam doesn't know till the very he never finds out. The reader finds out, but he doesn't. And I promise it makes sense in a cracky way.
Great. I love that. So we're talking. Obviously, we're not talking about Jim Carrey's fucking fursuit, the Grinch.
No, it was basically a guy who was dressed up as the Grinch at a mall. You know, they had a Grinch dressed up and it had a Santa, and then they kind of hooked up in the mall bathroom, which is totally, I get it, totally out of character for Sam Winchester. So don't come at me with out of character. I know it is, but and so they had.
I reckon Sam is hooked up in more bathrooms than Dean has, because he keeps his sex life.
Exactly.
He keeps it under wraps.
He is way less vanilla than Dean thinks.
Yes, I'll die on that hill. Yes.
And so he thinks it's just a hot guy dressed up in a costume, but not realizing it's. Anyway,
I love that. That's fucking great.
That was fun, and I think. Probably the other weird one was Sam Winchester / Dick Roman, and I'm giving him like a hell of a like revenge arc in that. It's a very smutty film, but it has plot to it in the sense of taking revenge against Dick for getting Bobby killed and all that stuff. So it's
love that as well.
It's fun to do things like that. It's just weird and out there and strange, and you're like, where did that come from?
I plotted out a whole fic that was entitled "Becky Rosen Must Die." I don't know if I'll ever write it, but I plotted it out.
You've talked about it in Idling, haven't you? That sounds very familiar.
Yes. Yeah. Hi, Baba. My cat has come to say hello. So if you hear him on the recording, I'm sorry. But,
Okay.
Finish sulking, he's going to say hi.
So, Mass, I mean, before we get into like bangs and all the other things that you're a part of with the fandom, when do you find time to write? Like, when is that happening? Do you have a certain time of like? Because I know, like, we've talked to other people before. Like, is there a certain sweet spot for writing for you, like during the day, or do you make time every day to write? What's your writing process like?
I definitely do make time for it. It's usually first thing in the morning before work.
Okay.
I usually get up an hour early when I have to go into the office. I'll get up an hour early, so I have an hour to write in the morning.
Right.
And if I'm in the middle of a deadline or a bang deadline or something, and I need to finish it, I'll even do some over my lunch break, because writing is writing to me is something I truly enjoy it. It's something I can lose same with art. I can lose myself in it and just completely unclick from reality and from whatever stress is happening, or from work. If work is stressful, it's something that helps me recenter and kind of find myself for a little while and just do something completely for myself.
Gotcha.
And so that's usually when I write, first thing in the morning, because the evening I want to spend it with my daughter and with my family. So yeah, that's when my creativity happens, is first thing in the morning.
You people that can get up early and just be productive. And you said you're like, you can like go out and like do exercise and things like that and eat green stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm so envious.
Do you ever? Because I mean, Kasey and I have chatted about this, and I know you've probably heard if you listen to a few of the episodes. Do you plot out a story in full? It sounds like you said you find like these happy accidents, right? Like as you're writing, like with different characters and stuff. But do you typically plot out everything and then just wait and see if something occurs? Then do you decide, I think I'm gonna see where this leads me? Or because of deadlines and different things, do you kind of like stick to the script kind of a situation?
I do a bit of both. It depends on what the idea is. If it's a story, I have a whip in my folder that is a very layered story about what Sam would do after Dean died in season 15, and how he would happen to stumble into a witch coven that knows who he is and try to use him for their purposes. So it's a very complicated plot to try and figure out. So if it's something like this, I will plot it out. I will do chapter outlines, and one of my most important things is I put a chronological timeline together of when the story starts, we're at this time, and then 5 months later this happens, because I want to be able to make the context make sense, so that if I'm not describing winter outside when it's actually summer, based on the time that has passed. Not that the weather is that crucial, but just context of when somebody would have done this. Because otherwise, because I forget, I will forget how I've put it and how much time has passed. So but it's not, writing to a fully plotted outline is not my favorite way of doing it. I some of my larger, like 20 plus K fics, I just started writing, and it just kind of evolved as I was writing, and that's definitely my favorite way of going. And I do sometimes find myself going back when I do the editing after the first rough draft is done, and add in some foreshadowing where it makes sense in the earlier chapters. So that's my favorite way of writing. I think there's no one way that is the perfect way, but my from just enjoying the activity, it's just write and let it flow. Yeah.
Does Sam ever get away from you?
Yes, it's just the whole story sometimes gets away from me. Not so much Sam in particular, but just But and I've definitely written myself into a corner once, and I still haven't resolved it. Where I had the story of Vampire Sam and Human Dean, and I loved it, and it's good. And it's like 7,000 words already. I have no idea how to end it, and none of the endings that I've brainstormed with people or my own ideas are right. So that's the risk you take if you write this way. It can happen.
Do you prefer to write like happy ever afters, or are you okay with like sad endings, or happy for now, or
most of my stories have happy endings, and I love when people tag the type of ending, because I have read stories that had like sad or hopeful endings or truly bad endings.
Mhm.
But generally I prefer to know what it is, if it's happy or sad. Not exactly what it is, obviously, but yeah, mostly happily ever after. But my Sam and Jarpat fic had an ending where they both died, Sam and Dean. So it's like, it's not really happy. I think for Sam and Dean as characters to be in heaven together is not an unhappy ending, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not your sugar-coated happy-go-lucky in the park ending when you look at it outside of the supernatural world.
Are you a fic hoarder, or do you like to collab? More like when you're thinking of, because again, Kasey and I can veer quite differently. Kasey's very much wants ideas.
I am
like,
a baby child and I require constant validation.
And I can be
Talk about
like,
it.
no, I'm not even going to tell you I'm working on something, and then I put it out. And Kasey's like, what the fuck? Tell me this happened.
Yeah, I get surprised by Sandra uploading fics constantly. Like I'll get the email and I'll be like, you didn't even tell me you were working on this. What the fuck? And I'm genuinely like, I'm running to Runaway Dreamer, my alpha reader, my beta reader, my bestie. And I'm like, I wrote 100 words, tell me they're good.
I'd say I'm a selective fic hoarder. If it's an idea that I and what I mean by that is I do share with certain people. I would bounce stuff off Sal or JDL or even Liz if I have an idea, depending on what it is, because I kind of brainstorm with the people that it makes most sense based on what I'm writing. So I don't usually brainstorm in a public forum, if you will, or public forum, as in like on Discord somewhere in a brainstorming channel, unless I'm really stuck and I'm like, hey, I really would like everybody's opinions from different points of views beyond my echo chamber of friends. If it's an idea I'm really, really into and excited about, I don't usually share it until I've kind of fleshed it out further. So a bit of both, I would say.
Okay, now we got to get into like all of the other stuff that you like. I mean, it's all connected, but it's still so much. When did your first bang was Winter Natural? You said in 2023, right? Yeah. So when did you, and I'm skipping forward a little bit because I'm just interested, when did you decide I'm going to do my own bang, or I'm going to help mod a bang? How did you get into that part of it? Like, when did that switch over?
I think the wanting to mod a bang was purely a matter of, why isn't there a Sam Winchester centered event? That was truly the thought. Right. Because I am a Sam Winchester and Charpad fan, and I did research. I saw there used to be one, and I actually reached out to that mod and I said, hey, would you be okay if I were to redo something, or did you want to start another one, or what's going on? And they were okay if somebody else started something. And I definitely am a person like that. If something's been done before, I try to reach out to that person, because I don't want to step on people's toes when they've already done a lot of work into something, or invested into something. And so I've kind of mentioned it as a kind of, by the way, I'm thinking this to JDL 71. And she's like, oh, I'd help you mod if you want to do it. It's like, really, you would? And I mean, she's got the Dean Winchester Big Bang under her belt, and she's done modding for much longer than I have. She's been in the fandom much longer than I have, so she has a lot more experience. And so to do it with her was a fantastic team up. And then it went from there. And it was a lot more work than I thought.
And you personally, you and Jen, JDL, you personally jinxed me. Personally, the pair of you, like, you descended from on high, like cosmic curses, because what happened was I did the Winchester Big Bang in 2024, and I feel like maybe you were you in that as well?
Yes,
I remember. It's been a million years. Yeah, I thought so. So when we were like, I did it, Sandra did it, Runaway Dreamer did it, and when we were breaking it down, I was like, I'm done with bangs. The only bang to possibly tempt me now, the only bang, because I knew like Sandra's done the Dean Winchester bang. I knew that was a thing. I know about like all of the other bangs that go on, like the big ones and stuff. But I was like, nope, I'm done with it. It's like, this was pretty stressful. I'm finished with it. The only bang that could tempt me now, the only fucking one, is the Sam Winchester one. And I shit you not, like 2 months later, y'all were like, Sam Winchester bang, and I was like, oh fuck.
I don't even think it was that. I think it was even shorter of a time frame than that. I think
it was announced. Okay. It was announced earlier than that. And I went, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I fucking signed up. And I was like,
you'd make fast you a liar if you don't do it.
yeah. Well, I was trying to justify this to Sandra and Dreamer, who had both like Sandra breezed through the Winchester Big Bang because she's organized and has an ability to manage her time properly. I am not, and I do not. And like Dreamer had her own issues with the bang, so we were both kind of like coming down from it. And they were like, we were all like, no more bangs. And then I was like, guys, I found a Sam Win bang, and they were like, you said no more bangs, and I'm like, yes. Well, it turns out I'm a liar.
Yes,
I'm a liar. And then literally right after that, the Japad bingo opened, and I was like, I found this bingo, and they were like, if you do this, and I was like, yeah, but there's no end date on it. You see, it's just
no, there isn't. There's no time pressure. Yeah,
runs indefinitely. So I signed up for that, and they were like, we're not fucking helping you, and I was like, that seems reasonable. Yeah, that seems fair. And then after the Sam Win bang was done, and you were like, we're thinking about doing a reverse bang next year. And I had also said, after the Sam Win bang was done, I was like, the only thing that could possibly draw me in now is a reverse Sam Winchester bang, because I've never done a reverse bang.
Yes.
And then you announced that, and I was like, this is personal at this point. You're in my fucking brain. This is personal. You're cosmically cursing me. And then you announced Kinktober, and I was like, well, that seems less stressful, but I'm sorry. No, if Mass had drawn Dean in that pose with his arms tied up and everything, you would have been like, yeah, I'll do Kinktober. Fuck yeah. What else do you want? You want my social security number? Yeah.
I mean, I've already dug myself into holes in different ways, so we don't need to focus on what I've been doing with my time right now either. But I'm guessing there's a certain thing that inspires you then to kind of like take the reins on some of these challenges.
Yeah, that's a question on the question sheet. That's really good, Sandra. Well done.
Yeah, I'm trying. What could it be? I mean, do you feel there's just like there's a bereft, there's a need, something that you need to make sure gets filled with the love you.
Sam needs to get filled.
Yes, he does. He does need to fill things and be filled. Yes. Either way is fine. No, for the Sam Win Sharphead was definitely a lack of an event centered around, because Dean has an event.
Yeah.
And Dean is in a lot of events.
Dean's very busy.
He's very busy.
There are a lot of Dean events.
Yes, there are. And so that was purely that. And usually it's just pursue, and after the first one was done, it was more pursuing an idea that really sparks. And there's another thing we've just pulled about, and I've mentioned it to you guys as well, the whole same as the collaborations channel, to do a whole bang around stuff that's already posted and published, or art or fiction, and then
that's
have
interesting.
That
can you talk about that a little bit more? Because I saw that, I was like, that's neat. So something that's already been done, that's already out there. I like that idea.
Yeah, because I think a lot of fanfic authors or fan artists don't participate in bangs for various reasons, either because they don't like working to a deadline, or because they don't know how. That's the other thing, because I had no clue how to enter a bang when I first started reading fan fiction. And there are a lot of fics out there and art that has been posted that would be fantastic to write to or to art to. And most bangs always say it has to be unpublished, it has to be brand new.
Right.
Yeah.
But exactly. It's already in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my thought was like, well, why can't we center an event around the stuff that's already out there? It's just as deserving of art or a fic written to it, if that's what the person would like. And so it would basically be about creating a platform with a timeline, probably a one month lead up for people to pitch their information or their art or fic that they would like somebody to claim, and then give 3 months for somebody to do something in response. That's kind of the core thing that we have, and we're already kind of building a mod team for it in the background.
I love that idea, because I think for a lot of people too, because I think a lot of people need to be just given a little bit more knowledge too, like, put together like a blanket permission, right? Like that if somebody wants to like draw art or write something based off of an art that you posted, or like it's almost like they need to know that it's okay to do that, because then you got to like find the person, do the thing, all that stuff. Where if you give them challenges and opportunities to say, here's my stuff. I love that idea. I think that's great.
I would hope as well that might sort of foster some of that more. I mean, me and Sandra are like relatively new to the fandom in terms of when we got into it, but from like what we've heard from like the old guard, artists drawing stuff for fics that they just found, or
Mhm.
authors writing for art that they'd found, was really common and really prevalent. And there was like a much closer sort of connection and community between authors and artists that I think this has the potential to bring back as well. In that kind of just draw something and, you know, just draw whatever you want, and it doesn't have to be to any specification, and maybe someone will come along and write it, and, you know, vice versa. And like, because obviously a lot of bangs do have rules and things like that, and it's much more free and open, which I think is fucking sweet. And I would definitely
and I think the point you made about like create what you said, Sandra, about creating that openness, that like telling you, hey, these people are willing to have things written or arted for their works. It's a huge deal, because if for me, I'm an introverted extrovert, so I have no problem going to an artist who posted something, but no matter the platform, saying, hey, I like your art, it sparked X idea, are you okay if I write this for you? But for many people, that is a blind, I call it a blind call, like a blind sales call, right?
I call them cold calls all the time when I'm just like randomly sliding into somebody's DMs, like, hey, you might not know about this podcast, but hey, can we have you guys on? Like, here's the thing, like, you got to sell yourself in a way sometimes to certain people.
And it's and I think for many it is, and that's totally fine if it is. For many people, that is a big step to take, or something that they would never think of taking, or they think they're not good enough, or whatever the reason may be. So it's just opening that door up, and it would be an all ships, all everything allowed kind of event, because there is everything out there. So, and with the mod team that we're considering, we basically have everything covered already.
That's great.
Like any warning, any kind of fic of any kind, which would be awesome. So it's just a matter of when and how exactly. We'll have to figure that out. So.
Because I'm thinking about too, like, I mean, and I'm just noticing this now, and I know we're on a time crunch, so we're going to have you back also at some point. But
oh no, we're really sorry about that.
I've just noticed too that you know, like, because there is so much out there, if you want to go back and you want to draw something, or you want to write something to someone's art, or you want to if you want to podfic something, if you don't have that permission and you can't find or contact that person, you're kind of like, well, do I do it? I can't do it because I don't have the person's permission to do it. So it really just kind of leave it open, you know, for future people to come across stuff, and if they have the creativity within them to want to do those things. So I think I think it's good to keep that, you know, that information out there, that these are things you can do, you know, give people the option to, like, you know, find stuff or connect with older things. Because there's so much great stories, great artwork that's been posted, that's out there, that deserves the opportunity, if it can, you know, if somebody wants to write something to it or draw something to it, that they can. So I love it. I love that you're doing all these things. How do you have time? One of the last questions. How do you handle all this stuff, like, between being a part of it? Because I know you draw. I'm going
to assume you don't sleep. That's what I'm going to assume.
Sleep. Yeah, I'm a very terrible person to be around if I don't get sleep. Yes, I do prioritize sleep, actually, like, very much so. But yeah, it's getting up. I usually get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. So, but I go to sleep at the time accordingly to then have enough sleep. So, and it's usually in the mornings that I do it, and sometimes in the evenings when hubby looks after the little one. So and it's a matter of making time for the things that you want to do, and these are things I want to do. I want to spend my time on, and for me, fandom is the place that I go because I want to. It's not something I have to do. It's not with people that I have to endure, because at work you can't pick your coworkers. They're there. You like some, you don't like some. It is what it is. And so that's, as long as it fulfills that value of I'm enjoying myself here, this is fun, and I'm an organizer by nature. That's a big character trait of mine. It's a big part of my job that I do. And so it just kind of comes naturally to organize and do things like this. It's not a chore or a hardship in any way. The opposite, in fact.
Well, that's great. That's great. I know you're on a time crunch, so I was going to let Kasey ask their questions, and then maybe wrap this up. But if we can have you back at some point, we'd love to have you back on and chat for some more stuff. If that sounds okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I realized that it's a hardship to come and talk to a fellow muse lover. And I mean, we didn't even sort out like who was gonna hold the head end and who was gonna hold the ass end.
Yeah,
of the
we
muse.
didn't.
Like,
Yeah, have you guys figured that out yet? You can figure it out right now. Workshop it for like a minute. Who's holding which part?
well, you see, it's the moose axe's birthday today, so I might get a little bit more protective over the front end of the moose. But like, I'm a generous host. If you want to hold the front end of the moose, you can do. Hold the ass end of the moose. It's fine. I'm used to it.
Sounds good. I'll hold on to the antlers.
Bitchin'. Look at that. See, we started now. So next time you come on, we don't even have to discuss it. I'll just hand you like the front end of the moose and be like, can you just hold this up? And I'm going to go like fucking 6 feet over there because he's huge and hold the other end of him up. Bitchin'. But no, if you want to share, it's totally fine if you don't, like, no worries. But how'd you come up with your username? And I think we've talked about this in the Idling Discord before, but share with the people if you want to.
It's a purely made up name. There's no interesting story behind it nor a hidden meaning. It's just something that sounded nice to me, and I kind of stuck with it. And I set it up at the very beginning when I first created an AO3 account. So yeah, it's not an interesting explanation, I'm afraid.
That's
I
all
love
right.
it though.
Yeah.
I think there was something that like no one had actually ever pronounced it before. Like, right? Like, was that a thing?
Neither have I. Yeah. Neither had I. Because I think you guys, we were on a chat together, you guys and Fandom, sorry, not Fandom, Hoard, Dreamer, and a couple others from the Idling server, I believe, if I remember correctly. And you were like, how do you say your name? I was like, I don't know, because I never say it. and it was actually when Sal was start going to record with you guys. She's like, how do I say your name if I mention you? And I'm like,
yeah.
so that's what it's been, and yeah. So
I love it.
That's
it kind of just flows. It's like it's a good name. Good choice. Good choice. I even tried to look it up. I'm like, does this mean anything?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that it meant something. I didn't look it up, but I assumed it was a translation of something. But I couldn't think what it would be a translation of. So I was just like,
I just like that Sam is in there backwards. I was looking at that the other day. I'm like, Sam is in there. So I'm like, it's kind of like it was meant to be, right? Like, so you got Sam. So
I never noticed that.
I was like,
Hey, I could say that is deliberate from this point forward.
What does it spell out backwards?
I looked at that too, but I don't think. Yeah.
Sam?
And Neo Sam.
And Neo Sam. And Neo Sam. Look at that. There you go. You tell everybody.
And Neo Sam. Oh, there you go.
Neo Sam.
I love
and then if anyone asks what that means, you'd be like, it's a secret. It means whatever you
Any
want
old Sam. That's what it means. That's
Oh,
and then for art, I just added RT at the end, Masoena art.
Yeah.
To create a separate kind of profile, but yeah.
That's great.
Awesome. I love that. Alrighty. So this one, like you know this question because you've listened to episodes because you're the bestest. But adults don't ask other adults this question enough, and I am on a one model mission to change that. So, Mas, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops.
Woo! Triceratops.
Always has been.
Yeah, because they're fucking badass. Like,
yes, they are.
Fuck yeah.
And my daughter points whenever we're at the dinosaur exhibit or of any kind, because she loves dinosaurs. She's like, "Mom, look, it's your favorite Triceratops." So she knows, and she's 5 years old. So,
I love that so
absolutely.
much. That's so cute. I don't even know what my kids' favorite dinosaurs are anymore. I'll have to ask them. They're both.
We need to be updated on this information.
The oldest is outgrown dinosaurs, but the littlest is still kind of into them. As you
probably still has one. If you had to ask, if you had to pick a favorite dinosaur, you could try. You could see what you could get from.
Yeah,
you could get from them.
I'll poll my children and my husband.
Okay.
And put the answers in Discord. Triceratops hype. Triceratops love.
Good.
I love that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mas, this has been really fun. I've loved learning more about your journey, how Supernatural got its claws into you. What we like to do with all of our writing guests before we let them go is just if they have any sort of words of wisdom for other writers who might be having a tough time writing. Maybe they're considering a bang and they, maybe they're like, I don't know. What advice would you just give somebody who's just wanting to maybe try to see all the different challenges that are out there? Like how would they first get involved? Like what would be your advice for them?
There is I think one of the best resources is from Midnight Silver in his SPN fan art group on Tumblr, which is you have to apply for membership, but it's basically open. You can just apply and you're in, basically. But they keep a list of all bangs and events that are currently ongoing, and that is a very good resource because it's a really nice summary. And to just reach out to someone who's already doing them and ask, hey, how did you get into this? Or even leave a comment if you read an AO3 fic from someone and you see it's part of a bang. Ask them, hey, how do I get into this bang? Can you send me a link? That's what I've done because I had no clue where to go. And Sal actually got me onto Discord. Said, yeah, you should really go to Discord. There's all this stuff on Discord. And it really is. Discord is a wealth of information and knowledge. And one thing I would encourage, if somebody is doing a bang for the first time, be open about it and tell them odds, because what I've had 5 different people who've never done bangs before in the Sam Winchester Chirpad event. And so I tried to give them some support where they needed it and if they needed it, to make sure that they felt comfortable and had a good experience. Awesome. Because it is daunting. And the key thing is to, if you're going to consider an event or a challenge, to really be honest with yourself about, does this timeline work for me? And if you're a person who writes slower and is not great with deadlines, pick something that has a long turnaround time, like 3 or 4 months, for example. There are some events that are 2 weeks turnaround, like the flings and the Folgers exchange. I forget what the full name, but there's one that's like a week's turnaround. So just pick something that works for you as a writer and creator. And go with, and pick something that's your thing, your trope or your pairing, whatever that may be, and then just go for it and try, because it's not about being perfect about it or just doing you can do the best that you can. That's all anybody can expect, and just try it. Just give it a try. The worst that's going to happen is that you might have to drop out because you couldn't make it, but then you just try again. And nobody's going to hold it against you if you drop out before claims or matching up. It happens. So, and just dare, just try. And if you want to write something, just write it. Don't worry about whether you can write or not. Just do it. Because if you don't even try, you've already failed.
Yeah.
So, that's it, Sandra. That's the episode title.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and sometimes you just got to do it scared. There's so many, and that's more life advice, not bang advice. It's just some things in life just make you terrified, but you got to do them. And you just do them and do it anyway. And it always leads to growth when you do something like that.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. I know like I said, I know you got places to go, things to do, water to jump into. Thank you for your time. We really do appreciate it. And we look forward to all the great things that you're going to be doing for fandom in general over the next few months. And that Kinktober is one of them.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, have a great rest of the day. Feel free to exit out and we'll do our little chow later. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was great.
That was great. I don't know what you're gonna call this. If you don't try, you've already failed.
You know what I also like though? Fandom is a place I go to because I want to. Yeah. I really liked that when she said that too, because I really do feel like it is a choice we are making. Like we don't have to do this. We don't have to do these things, whether we feel like we're beating ourselves with a stick or not. We're choosing to do these things. We're choosing to, be a part of fandom for a variety of reasons. And I think that one resonated with me too. So we'll have to see. Yeah. To see. Like I said, I didn't know a lot about Mass, just in general. So I think, having her in our server and talking and knowing she's just a great person, but then hearing about, her journey with Supernatural and all the great things she's doing. Again, it's a lot. And to be able to prioritize and get all that stuff done and the writing and all the other things it's great. Yeah. No,
it's awesome. Like I've worked with Mass for the Samlin Jarpad Big Bang, and she was just excellent. Her and Jen, excellent pair, really on top of things, really helpful there if you needed anything. It was a really, really great experience to have, and a great experience to be involved in. And I can't wait can't wait to get back involved with Kinktober. Nobody yell at me, please. It's not a banner or bingo. Nobody's allowed to yell at me.
I'm not allowed to do it anymore anyway. Like I said, I'm signing up for way too much shit now, so I have to.
Yeah,
just
you
stop.
goofed.
Yeah.
You goofed. You had the upper hand, and then you goofed.
Yeah.
And now Dreamer is allowed to yell at both of us, but you're not allowed to yell at me.
I know. I wouldn't yell at you. Unless you like start to make more decisions like in the near future where I'm like, wait, I think we really need to we both need an intervention. I think at this point,
Here's the thing. I can't promise that I won't sign up for the reverse bang next year. I can't.
I know.
But I'm gonna say I'm gonna really try and be careful because I'll have real life stuff going on next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it would I'm going to try and be a lot more discerning. It would have to be something that really, spoke to me, and something that I was really passionate about and really work with. But I can't promise that I'm not going to do that, guys. I can't promise that I'm not going to do that.
I really
and as long as Mass and Jen keep running Samwin, Jaff had Kinktober, keep turning up for that.
Yeah, and I love the idea of stuff that's already been written or drawn.
Yeah,
Because
1,000% happy to throw in for that.
Great things that people have done, or I would love to get an opportunity probably for something like that. I think that would be really, really interesting to do. Because I could think of so many pieces of artwork or stuff that I've seen that I would want to write something about it. And
there's so many I've seen so many Blood Addict Sam pieces of art that I, God, I wish I'd seen before I started writing Junkies, or I could see a whole timestamp of it,
Well, but the nice thing
that.
too is just when I was doing Jackal's Verse, right? And I had asked Kim, I'm currently I'm writing this story. Can I write a part of the story for this? And I feel like you're finding that more mods and more people that are running the things do understand from a creative perspective that they give lenience to some certain things now. So I think it's understanding that sometimes there's already this spark or this information or this idea that's out there that just wants to get expanded on, and your challenge or your creative idea can spark, oh, I can continue to do this. That's how I finished a lot of my stuff, my works, was because there was another thing that came up that here we go. This might be the little kick in the pants, that I need to finish.
You have a whole series that's based just on bingo and Princess Misery's Alphabet Quest, don't you? So, if you haven't read it, it's called Pets for Punks. You should go read it. It's on Sandra's AO3 page. It's the fucking tits, and if enough of us nag her, she might write as an actual sex scene for it.
I did sort of.
You did sort of. No, she probably won't. I think you said you're done with it. But that doesn't mean that we can't nag a little bit.
Yeah, you can nag. You can nag lovingly, and it's fine. No, but I really did. This was great to kind of get a peek behind the curtain.
100%.
Somebody new for me too. So that was great. That was great. And I didn't even get a chance to talk about a couple of the fics that I did read in advance. So, but it sounds like Mass is going to have
We'll have to have her come back and we can discuss her writing in more in depth. And
but I did want to hit on her writing too, because she did make a point. So I did want to talk about her writing process and different things like that. Because sometimes I think we get lost in the weeds when we start chatting, and so I wanted to get her back on that because I know it's something she wanted to chat about.
You've got a most excellent outtake of me being like, Wales! and handling that like a fucking champion. I think I handled that really well. I only do 5 minutes short.
You did. It was less than that. It was fine. You did great. But we do have to record another episode before we have a live stream. So we're going to wrap up this one. But we want to thank you for listening and let us know what you thought of the episode. You can email us at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. You can comment on Spotify in the Q&A section. Leave a YouTube comment, join our Discord, and chat with fellow idlers and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website. That's idlingintheimpala.com. Want to fuel our supernatural road trip? Consider joining us on Ko-fi for as little as $1 a month. We have perks to go along with different membership tiers. I would love to have you along for the ride. Kasey, are you still looking for the document? Or are you in there with me? Okay.
I'm just gonna know. Did you hear me go, shit?
I did. I was like, They're not in there yet. I didn't see them.
No, my internet dips out and it's fucking booked up on my tabs. Yeah, that's where I went. My internet just went, lol, no. Speaking of perks, we've got special shout outs for some of our Ko-fi members. From our Shotgun Picks and Music tier, we've got Runaway Dreamer, Crowley's Mistress, Sam and Dean 76, and Elia. From our own Mrs. Butters tier, we've got Charlie. Thanks for picking the tunes in the car and keeping the lights on in the bunker. Support like yours keeps our podcast going. Thanks. Don't forget, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes we support in the description. So for me, you have LGBTQ plus talking charities. From Sandra, you have mental health charities. And of course, the main causes that we are always highlighting, championing, spotlighting are World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. It's actually worth bearing in mind that World Central Kitchen are on the ground in Texas at the moment, you know, in those communities that are dealing with the aftermath of those horrible floods. So we're always championing them and, you know, like drawing attention to them. But
they always seem to be everywhere it's needed. So
yeah, that's exactly it. They're everywhere that they're needed. But if you are in the US and, you know, obviously so many people have been affected by these horrible floods, World Central Kitchen they're there, they're doing the work that they do, and they're, you know, they're amazing as well. So, but if you want to know more about them, about the other causes that we have, you can go to idlingintheimpala.com. There's a page there called Cause is Cause with all the details. So with that, we will say thank you to Masoena for joining us in the back seat. Thank you for joining us in the back seat, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.